Now, we all know that we can't stay at Western forever, even though we may want to, so we might as well think about the word careers now.
This week I've been thinking a lot about my impending graduation and the reality that waits for me on the other side. Real life. Waiting there for us whether we're ready or not. And a big facet of that next chapter is the career we're all here more or less training for. However, just because we're training doesn't exactly mean we know exactly what we want to do. In fact, a lot of people ask me what I'm going to do with my English degree, and to be honest, I'm not quite sure. So this week I've decided that our word will be careers, to hear your opinion about careers and perhaps gain some insight into my own. So my first question that I am putting out to all of you is, do you think a career is important?
Oh yeah, definitely. It's what you want to be when you grow up. It gives you a sense of kind of what direction you should head. You can plan for things. And just kind of aligning your career and with what you're truly interested in is very important.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, I think it's important because it's what is going to feed you and your family for the rest of your life. So if you're going to be doing something 40 hours a week, it should be something that you genuinely enjoy.
Absolutely. I'm currently working on my career right now, so I actually have one, so that's why I'm here at university. So I think it's good to have.
I'm an ex-architect, so I'm coming from the workforce, so I know what it's like to work out in the real world and then have to come back to university to retrain and look for a different career choice just with the economy the way it's been.
Yes, I think it's very important.
Yes.
I think it's very important because I think in life it's important to really have goals. Without goals, we really don't have any motivation to go anywhere. So a career is just one aspect of a goal that most people have in this society.
I think it is.
Personally, I'm of the belief that having a career is not that important. I think it's important if it's something that you love to do. I think a lot of people see careers as standing for security and stability, but in our economy as we see today, that's not always the case. I also think that people chasing after this often get themselves into a perpetual cycle and end up doing something for the rest of their lives that they don't necessarily enjoy doing. So, I think it's important to have a career if it's important to you. Now that we know whether or not you think it's important, do you have a career in mind?
Right now I just switched programs from nursing to psychology, so it's kind of up in the air for me, but I do have one in mind. I'm thinking that I want to go into counseling with underprivileged children and that kind of stuff.
I either want to be a teacher or work at a publishing house.
Potentially right now I was thinking somewhere in the career of finance or consulting, depending how these couple years go and seeing where my interests sort of direct me towards.
We're actually starting a business after we graduate. It's called Cottage Country Air Tours in Muskoka. We did it as a feasibility project and it turns out to be really feasible.
I'm probably going to be part of Cottage Country Air Tours, and I am in marketing currently right now, so I'm going to do the promotions and advertising for the company.
Okay, so obviously money is just one factor in career decision making. Another one I find really interesting is parental influence. Growing up in a household around your parents' profession or being motivated by a profession that your parents believe will be prosperous for you is obviously going to have a large impact on your career decision making. Personally, my parents told me to find what I love to do and they would be supportive. But how about you? How did your parents impact your career decision?
They've always supported whatever decision I make.
Well, my dad is a civil engineer, my mom was a chemistry major, and I'm an English and poli-sci, so I wouldn't say they influenced me too much. It was more my own choice, really.
I would say that my dad influenced me a lot because it was a suggestion that I go into optometry because he used to work with ophthalmological equipment and he knows the ins and outs of the industry, and he suggested that it's something that I liked. And I did end up liking it because I did co-op in high school.
In a way, my father was in the Air Force as well. He was a pilot, and I'm sort of following in his footsteps, but he sort of wanted me to become a doctor or something, but I wanted to really serve my country and become a pilot as well.
It actually pushed me to stay in nursing.
My mom's a teacher and my dad works in the city of Toronto, and they just facilitated whatever passion I had, and there was no pressure in either way.
Yeah, they told me to go to this program.
No, not really.
No, not really. My mom's do whatever you want to do as long as you're happy, and my dad more pushes for money, but it's more my mom's influence that I take.
Okay, so As much as I don't want to ask my next question, partly because I don't really know if I want to hear the answer, I do find it interesting people's motivations behind their chosen careers in our time. So, how much is money a factor in your decision?
Could be, because HBA is pretty expensive, as we all know, and it is a more reputable school, especially for businesses, so I am thinking, yeah, money might be a problem, but I think with the value you get from that degree somewhat, or if you do dental schools, you can pay it off, so it's good.
It is. It's a big, but it's not like my big priority. I'd rather pick something I want to do.
I would say so, because originally I was thinking of being a forensic pathologist, but I don't want to go to med school and then be paid less because I only operate on dead people. And I was also thinking of being a pediatrician or just a family doctor, but once again, I'm not sure if I want to pay for med school. So optometry is sort of like the middle ground where I can help people, and the doctorate of optometry degree is not quite as expensive as medical school.
Not really. It's more of the chance, like the Canadian Forces offers a unique career choice. It's very adventurous, doing what I love, so it's something giving to your country. I think it's good. Yeah.
Oh yeah, definitely. You want to, it's kind of the purpose of a career, right?
It's a small factor. It would be nice to be living comfortably, but my biggest factor would be being happy within my career and giving back to society.
Well, the way I see it is I practiced architecture for around about 10 years, and it was a really great job. I loved what I did, but at the end of the day, you have to have job satisfaction as well. So you have to balance out the monetary side of it with what you really love doing. And
Yes. As bad as that is, I would like to say that it kind of is. I just want to make sure that like when I have kids and like that kind of stuff and have a family, it's like comfortable for everyone.
It's not a huge factor, but it's nice.
Money really isn't a factor because at the end of the day, it's really proved about we're all dead, right? And money doesn't carry beyond the grave for you. I think life is not really defined by the monetary things because there's so many rich people that aren't happy. I'm not saying having money is a bad thing, but I think there's a little more to life than just money.
No, not really.
Yeah, income obviously does matter, but the major factor is I'm going to do something that I like.
Coming up to graduation, I can feel the worry of some of my peers about going into a job market during this economic recession. Some careers seem safe, while others are being replaced by spending cutbacks and growing technology. Thus, I'm avoiding this situation by packing my bags and teaching English in Vietnam. So, I leave you today with my final question. Do you think the economic recession will affect your career?
Definitely if I go down the business route, maybe, depending on how many jobs there are. Because people are graduating right now, they'll probably be ahead of us and they don't have jobs right now. So when I do graduate, there'll be like a lump of people who don't have jobs, but they'll have more probably experience or more years on me, so they might get hired before I do.
The law field? No. There'll always be criminals and there'll always be litigation, so I don't think any downturn in the economy will have an effect on that.
Yeah, I think so. I've had some people in my field who've had a hard time finding jobs because it's not really economically viable, I guess, compared to the healthcare business, but I'm sure it'll be okay.
Well, I don't think so because people will always need glasses and people will always need education.
Actually, within the social work field, we're kind of lucky because with the recession, it's increasing the need for jobs and increasing the need for services, so the recession sort of benefits my field.
Yeah, it certainly makes people think about what they want to do in the future. Coming from the construction industry, then there's a lot of pressure on how you're going to be able to adapt to a collapse in the construction industry. So yeah, I think you have to seriously think about what you're going to do for the economic future.
I think so. I mean, I know that like where I'm going into, like what field I want to go into is kind of going to be open anyways, but
Yes. Just because there's not as much out there and there's going to be a bigger push for education, so it'll be more competitive. But with teaching, there's not a lot of people who want to teach high school French, so I have that.
Seeing how the recession is sort of like almost over now, and it's still quite early in my university career, so thankfully no right now, but I do know a lot of people like who are leaving right now, and it does affect them because even with the internships, they do cut the number of internships down.
Well, the thing is, we do get like 3 things out of the program, right? So we get a business degree, specialization in airline and airport management, and we get a commercial pilot license, so we can go in either direction we want. So therefore, finding a job shouldn't be a problem.
Well, it may affect the career choice, like as of which company I work with. Like if Cottage Country Air Tours doesn't work out because of the economic recession, then I may have to join a different company that isn't as well affected by the economic recession.
Thanks so much for tuning in. Remember to keep tuning in for all your opinionated Logos needs. I'm your host, Sadie Christie, and that's the word.